welcome back to my channel. My name is Rosalia and I myself have a bicoordinate uterus. So my purpose of doing these videos is to help you guys that have a bicoordinate uterus, or anybody that's watching and knows somebody that has a bicoordinate uterus, learn a little bit more. I'm only going to be talking about what I know. Obviously, I don't know everything. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a nurse. So I'm just going to be talking about what I know with my experience. I'm making these videos more because nobody in my family has a bicoordinate uterus. I don't know anybody that has a bicoordinate uterus except for one of my friends. And she has a bicoordinate uterus, and she didn't even know what a bicoordinate uterus was until I started speaking about my bicoordinate uterus. And now she knows a little bit more. But before, she just knew, oh yeah, she has a bicoordinate uterus. She has a heart-shaped uterus. And that's it. But she didn't really know how do you get it or anything like that. So this is really why I'm doing it. So because I know a lot of you guys that are watching me only just found out and have no idea what it is. Probably you guys went to do an ultrasound and it came out that you have a bicoordinate uterus, but they didn't really talk about it. And I know that when I found out about over 10 years ago, when I found out about mine, I would talk about it. My family members and friends and all, and people that are not my friends, that I would talk about it, they would look at me like, what the hell is that? Well, obviously, I mean, I don't blame them, because if somebody was talking to me about it, I would look at them like, what the hell? And I'll probably think, oh, you have a bicoordinate uterus, heart-shaped uterus. That's exciting. Yes, but no, it's not. So this is why I want to share with you guys, so you guys don't feel alone like I felt over 10 years ago. I felt super alone, and I didn't know who to turn to, who I can speak to, so I would know a little bit more about it, so someone could talk to me about it. So this is really why I'm making videos about it. Don't think you're alone, because I'm not the only girl that has a bicoordinate uterus. There's over thousands and thousands of girls out there that have bicoordinate uterus. So a bicoordinate uterus is something very, very common. It's a abnormal uterus that's very common. There's a lot of different uteruses. There's a unicornal, or it's, instead of bicoordinate uterus, it's a uncoordinate uterus. That's what it's called, I think. I will leave the name down here below somewhere. And that uterus only has one side to it. So it's a little harder than a bicoordinate uterus. Mine, I have a big side and a small side. I explained a little bit more about it on my on the other video, the part 1. So go check it out if you haven't already. My uterus is my doctor told me that, well, I did an exam and the doctor said it was a normal uterus. A bicoordinate uterus, but I had one cervix, one uterus that was just split into, split in the middle, but only one uterus. It's not completely into two. So it was one cervix. I had 2 regular tubes. I had, my ovaries were fine. So the only problem was my uterus was thin. Then you have the partial. The partial is where there's that little dent, which that makes it, that doesn't really make it as a complete bicoordinate uterus. Mine is a complete bicoordinate uterus. The ones that are partial is not really considered bicoordinate uterus, but they use the name as bicoordinate uterus. That makes sense. So how do you find out you have a bicoordinate uterus? I'm sorry if you see me looking down. I have a couple of notes down here, so that's why I keep looking down, just to check. You can find out by a pelvic exam, which they check for the 2 horns. A sonogram, that's diagnosed by an ultrasound. You do an ultrasound, they automatically can see if you have a bicoordinate uterus or not. They are not able to see like a lot of detail in it, but they are automatically gonna know you have a bicoordinate uterus once they do the ultrasound. That's for sure. My first couple of ultrasounds, they weren't able to see how low my uterus was, but my last ultrasound that I had which had nothing to do with like miscarriages or anything. I did ask the lady that was doing the ultrasound. She did say that my uterus was very, very low, but it was not completely split it into two. But it all depends where you go, how good they are, all of that. And then there's the laparoscope, which provides information on the exact shape. That's like, they put like a little, it's like a little camera thing in through your vagina, and they're able to see the exact shape of it. Like if it's really in a heart-shaped uterus, if it has like one bigger side, one small side, you know, if you only have one side, whatever kind of uterus you have, that the laparoscope will let them see what it actually looks like. There's the hysteroscope that provides information of the inside of your uterus. They're able to see more into the inner walls of your uterus. There's an exam that I did that it's not the hysteroscopia. I'm sorry if I'm saying these words wrong. I will post the names underneath. But there's this exam that I did when I tried to get pregnant and it wasn't happening. Like I was having unprotected sex and it was just I wouldn't get pregnant. So my doctor did send me to do this exam. I will have the name. I don't remember exactly what it is. So I will have the name somewhere on the screen. And that one is almost like the hysteroscope, but the only difference is they put like a little they put like a yellow thing inside. They clean it, and then they pull like this little thing. It's like a balloon that they put inside of you, and that balloon starts like it starts filling up. And it's supposed to go into your two horns. When you have a bicoordinate uterus, you have those two horns. So it goes into, like it's supposed to go into those two horns. If it doesn't go into those two horns, is where you have, it's where it becomes a little complicated. There's complications starts happening because they have to do it all over. And it is a little painful. Like I'm saying a little, but it really is like painful. Like it's really painful. I was a trooper because I had to do it 2 times and I did not pass out in my exam, and that's what they were really scared, because a lot of girls, they pass out while doing that exam, and I did really good. So I'm glad I did that one. And they were able, in that exam, they're able to find out how, if your tubes are good, if your ovaries are good, how your uterus is, if there's any complications inside somewhere in your uterus or your tubes or your ovaries, they're able to see it. So automatically when I did it, the doctor that did that on me, which was not my doctor, it was just the hospital. I had to go to the hospital and they did it, and he told me right away that he didn't know why I couldn't get pregnant because everything looked fine. So there's that exam. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it. It doesn't come to my mind, but I will post it somewhere over here. There's also an MRI that you can do when you have a bicoordinate uterus. It will also show you, it will go more into detail about your uterus. I was actually going to get an MRI done before I had my son, but then I got pregnant. It was something very surprisingly when I got pregnant with my son. So I never got it done and I never went back to get it done. But that's something that you guys should look into if you were diagnosed with a bicoordinate uterus, because the MRI actually it shows you more into your uterus. It will give you more information about it. There is a surgery that you could get to fix a bicoordinate uterus. It's not necessary in a lot of situations, or should I say in a lot of girls. Not everybody needs it if you have a bicoordinate uterus, because a lot of you will have a bicoordinate uterus and have normal pregnancies and all of that. I don't have any complications. You guys probably have it and you guys don't even know about it. But in a lot of cases, if you have several miscarriages, if I'm not mistaken, they start looking more into it. If you have over 5 miscarriages, they start recommending the surgery and other things to do. And those are the ways that you can find out. Symptoms about it, you don't really have any, to be honest. The only thing that you could start feeling is when you're having intercourse, you may feel a little more pain. You're not supposed to feel pain when you have intercourse, but you will feel a little bit if you have, a bicoordinate uterus. Doesn't mean that if you're having pain while having intercourse that you have a bicoordinate uterus. No, it does not mean that you have a bicoordinate uterus, but these are some of the things that you may want to look into if you do have a bicoordinate uterus because of these things. Is painful intercourse, there's pain or discomfort in your abdominal, like you in your lower abdominal, you will feel a little more of pain. I do feel it, and that's all due to my bicoordinate uterus. And it's funny because you guys, if you don't have a bicoordinate uterus, it's a little hard when you go to a doctor and they haven't diagnosed you with a bicoordinate uterus, because before I found out I had a bicoordinate uterus, I went to the doctor and I told them that every time I would have intercourse, I would have pain. And the lady turned to me, well, the doctor, and she told me, well, maybe he's just too big. And I'm like, okay, but that wasn't the case. It was really because of my abnormal uterus that caused it. Because of the way it was shaped, it would make my uterus be a little lower. So that's where I would have pain. So please don't go, if you haven't been diagnosed with bicoordinate uterus and you're having pain, it doesn't mean you have a bicoordinate uterus. It could mean you have something else. So you have to do exams in order to find out. Irregular vaginal bleeding. So if you have irregular bleeding, it could mean that you have a bicoordinate uterus. Not all the time. So please don't take it as, oh yeah, I'm bleeding and it's irregular. It's a bicoordinate uterus. No, it does not mean it's a bicoordinate uterus. When you have your period, when you're on your menstrual cycle, you might have sharp pains, a lot of pain, and that could be due to that, but it might not. So everything that I'm saying does not mean, oh, if that's what you're experiencing, don't think that's because you have a bicoordinate uterus. If you haven't been diagnosed, do not think that. It could be something totally different from it. So please get it checked if that's what you're having. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, so I'm just saying this is what I know. When you have repeated miscarriages, there's something wrong, and it could be that you have a bicoordinate uterus. Doesn't mean that that's what it is, because when you have a bicoordinate uterus, yes, you do most likely have a lot of bicoordinate, I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place. You might have miscarriages, but regular people do have miscarriages, and there's nothing you can do to prevent miscarriages. Nothing. Miscarriages are when your body feels that fetus is starting to grow with problems. So your body automatically gives it a quit to it and tells you, no, you can't, this pregnancy can't go any farther along. So the heartbeat stops, or whatever however that is, which I will make a video about miscarriages very soon. So I don't want to get into it too much in this one. So really, there's a lot of ways you can find out. And if you feel like you think you have it, which you don't feel anything, it does not affect your life. So you won't know until you really try to get pregnant, or you have an ultrasound done because of anything that, that you go for an ultrasound because you have abdominal pain or whatever, and then you'll find out if you have a bicoordinate uterus or not. So, you know, when you have a bicoordinate uterus, you're basically, like I said before, high risk. So when you get pregnant and you start your baby becomes, if he churns, most likely your baby will be breech. What breech means is your baby won't go into the position of head down. It will be feet down. And when it goes feet down, most likely your doctor will recommend you having a C-section. I had a C-section, but it doesn't mean that you will always have a C-section if you have a bicoordinate uterus. That's just what they recommend you to have, but it doesn't mean you have to have it. You can go full term and have regular labor. In my case, I had a C-section, and I had a C-section because it was my choice to have a C-section because my baby, my water broke and my baby was breached. So the doctor gave me the choice, either have a normal or C-section, and I did choose C-section, and I will make a video about it, why I chose the C-section on a different video, on a baby story or my pregnancy story. So that'll be a different video. But I did have a C-section, and a lot of girls with bicoordinate uterus will have a C-section, but it doesn't mean that you definitely need it. Like a bicoordinate uterus is something you can't prevent. It's something you're born with. So like when your mom is pregnant, it's just something that it doesn't fully develop. So however it is when you're born, that's how it's just it takes longer on certain girls to develop, and then you're born, and then there's nothing you can do about it. Well, your mom can't do about it. And that's what happens. And doesn't mean it comes from family. Your family has to have it, because in my family that we know of, nobody has a bicoordinate uterus. So it doesn't mean that it comes from family, you know, from generation or whatever. That doesn't mean anything. My mom has a normal uterus. My aunts have normal uterus. My grandma has a normal uterus. Nobody that I know from neither side, from my mother's or my father's, they have a bicoordinate uterus. I'm literally the first one with a bicoordinate uterus. Of course, I will be the one with a bicoordinate uterus. Am I upset about it? There's certain times of my life that I am very upset that I have a bicoordinate uterus. But then again, I get up and I realize, like, you know, this is not the worst thing. There's people out there that can never get pregnant, will never be able to get pregnant. And I could, you know, I had a son, you know, and hopefully one day I will have another child. And so I look at myself in the mirror and I say, you know, you're stronger than this. You have that strength in you. You can go through all of this and get up and do this, you know, live your life as if there's nothing wrong. And that's what I do. And I hope you guys do the same, because it's not the worst thing in the world. It's better having this than you'll never be able to have a baby. That's worse. But this is not our case. You know, there's a lot of things out there that can help us get pregnant if that's your problem, if you can't get pregnant. So don't feel down. Always have that smile up, and always remember there's people out there that are worse than you. And that's how I see it. When I feel down, it's okay to feel down, because that's normal. We're humans. We have the right to feel down sometimes, be upset with the world, and that's normal. But, you know, always have that thing inside of you that tells you, get up and look forward, not back. Because there's nobody can help us and, you know, feel better if we don't start with ourselves. So, you know, I hope I helped you guys understand a little bit more about it with this video. and my first video. I'll be doing more videos about it. I'll be doing my miscarriage videos. I will be doing my pregnancy videos. I'll be doing my labor videos, my C-section videos. I'm going to have a lot of videos. So if you haven't already, please pause this video, get down in that subscribe button and click on it. Click that little bell button so you will be notified of every video I post. Don't forget, subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my videos, because I will be coming out with a lot of videos. And my videos is all so you guys know what I went through. And I want you guys also, like I said in the beginning, to share with me what you guys went through. Because it's always nice to know what other people with bicornuate uterus go through. So comment below, tell me what kind of uterus you have. Do you have any babies? Did you have any complications? So let me know. Give this video a thumbs up, a really fat thumbs up. Don't forget, again, comment, subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out any of my videos. So I'll see you guys next time.